Emmanuel Sani Safari bringing you another episode of the Promise Show. And this promise is, what do you get when you get with an insurer to insure your home or your building or your arcade that you're building during this time of COVID? I know we have seen very many buildings going up. People have put in some time to build and to supervise their projects. But many times you don't have enough supervisors. You have to contract someone who's going to do for you that job. There are many engineering firms. Today I want to speak to those engineering firms. I want to talk to the customers themselves who actually build these whatever projects. It could be a home, a building, it could be a dam, it could be pipe work, water works, name it. There's so much. And today I want to also talk about the game of Monopoly. If anyone has played Monopoly, we know the kind of challenges people go through when you're playing that game. Because that game is all about building, and you upgrade from small buildings, you keep counting two more or three buildings. If you get actually five buildings, you become a hotel. But even these hotels can get taxed, they can collapse. So if any of those things happen, then you have a fallback position. So I have a small example. I stay around Seguku, and on my way home, just recently, about 2 weeks ago, there were two buildings that were going up. They were all of this example at the same level by the roadside. And just 2 weeks ago, one of the other buildings happened to be something like that. It collapsed, the whole of it. So you can see the background, the debris, and it actually killed the person, one of the workers. Actually, the good thing, it collapsed during night time. Most of the workers had gone, but the worker who had stayed on ground had lost his life. So when you lose your life, actually this is the roadside, it also could have collapsed on other people's property. That's what we call public liability. So let's dive into the technical know-how. What does it take to insure such a project? So with this small short break, let's dive into the technical bit. Welcome back into this show. So this is an illustration. The kind of proposal that we're talking about here is called a contractor's all risks. So this is a project that is worth 600 million. So the engineers in the house and the architects and people who have done this kind of project will tell us the values of such projects. So whatever the project is, you have to give us a contract value. And then also important to note is the third party liability value. I think we talked about that party last time, but let me just remind you, that party is any other person that is outside of the contract. So if the contract is between the contractor, then there is also the insured, the owner of the project, that's the insured. Then there's also the insurance company. The insurance company is the second party. The third party is any other person outside of the contract whose items or whose property, whose life can also be damaged or hurt during the course of your contract. So as you're constructing, there are so many challenges, there are so many risks that surround that project. And that is what we have to look at the end of the day as insurers. So this is an example of someone having a value worth 600 million in terms of a project. It's a building. And for contract work, we shall charge about 0.3% of that value. On top of that, there is the workers' compensation or personal accident. That is for the workers. This is an example of a project that has about 20 workers, each earning about 200,000. So we have to look at 5 years' earnings. That is what we compensate should any of them have a challenge at the side. So for that, you're saying because these are usually casual laborers, we can get a rate of 0.6%. Then lastly, there is second last is the public liability limit. Public liability is now the general Liabilities, again, I told you third party to the general public. Remember, you also have your worker, that's also part of your liability. But if they are working within the site, that is okay, you can cover them under personal accident or workers' compensation. But public liability is for those other people outside who passers by, the vehicle can easily collapse nearby that are parked. And many buildings, such buildings are actually near trading centers, then they have neighborhoods. And in case any of that happens, let's say the value of say 100 million, of which you're only charging about 3,000 for the whole year. So why would such a building, such a project person take up the project without having this kind of cover? Then last but not least is what we call the contractors, plant and machinery. This is at a value of say 10% of the contract value. This is an example. We will charge a rate of 0.4%. So you're seeing the total value here is 3.8 million, but of course there are taxes, so it comes down to 4.5 million within for the year. So that's 12 months. And key to note also is, much as we are covering this project say for 12 months, there could be a maintenance period of 6 months that we can negotiate. It could even go to a year. Now, on the paying of premiums, I mean, there are some clients who feel that this is so much money to pay at the same time. So we have arranged what we call premium financing facilities. There is a bank called NCBA Bank. There are other banks as well, which can also offer this facility. You can pay up to 10 months installments. So instead of paying this 4.5 million at once, you can contract our bankers who will charge you 8% per annum for the whole year. So such that instead of paying 4.5, you're paying 494,000. That is on a monthly basis, and that is for 10 months. So the rest of the scope is the details that we can go through, but I wanted us to first of all understand what this is all about. And when I talk about these contractors, of course, I'm mostly targeting and talking to you, the engineers and architects of these projects. Whenever you're going for any project, please take time to reach us out. And also, you, the clients, look at such a project of say 4.5 million for the whole year. You're covering, actually, if you look at the total liability here we are having, is almost 900 million, almost 1 billion, much as the contract value is 650 million. We are actually covering about 1 billion. So, with that said, my key takeaway or action point is, let us not remain victims of circumstance. I mean, there are so many people who lost lives. Do you know what that will mean? The authorities will put your project down until you compensate all those. And if you imagine you had spent so much effort, 1 year's work or 2 years' work down the road has gone down the drain in just a minute. You don't know, it could be weather, it could be anything. So let's be more mindful. Let's hope for the best while preparing for the worst. I thank you. Till next time, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. For those who are not yet, there is that button down the screen. Please tap it and subscribe. And for any comments for the next topics that you want us to discuss, please uh, comment in the link below or on the tabs below, the comment below tab. Till next time, I remain Emmanuel Sandy Safadi, bring you the Actuaries Promise and the Promise Show that is soon going into the mainstream media. Cheers. See you next time.